What's up, YouTube? This is for entertainment purposes only. Keep an open mind, but don't be gullible. Let's get right into it.
I ain't got no money. I ain't got no car to take you on a date. I can't even buy you flowers, but together we be the perfect soulmate.
Those ice walls are crazy. Like 30-foot ice walls all around Antarctica.
Say the world will go dark for 3 days in 2025.
I mean, it's only 3 days. People are gonna go nuts over 3 days? Probably, actually. All the toilet paper will be gone. Jesus. Jesus. It's like a 10-foot tall kangaroo. What? Is this AI? Can never tell anymore. Is this AI? Leave it down in the comments. Let me know.
It's a project first dreamed up by the military to get information from the battlefield.
They call it smart dust, and the new technology may soon make it possible to keep track of anything, anywhere, including you.
Smart dust originated with DARPA back in the 90s. This powder-sized chip is something called the Mu chip from Hitachi. It's the smallest commercially available RFID system in the world. You can literally scatter this stuff like dust or embed it into a sheet of paper. It doesn't require a battery. Flecks of computing power settling on your skin, ingested, monitoring you inside and out.
A sheet of paper? Like, what about like toilet paper?
The nanoparticles are designed to go under the radar of the immune system, and so they are undetected in the body.
We have computing everywhere, we have connectivity everywhere, we have infrastructure that can compute those with new capabilities like AI.
If you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible.
Just straight up said, and then you can manipulate them.
Transhumanism is a growing movement that aims to use technology to modify our bodies, sometimes in radical ways to make them stronger, faster, and better.
I don't know if I like that.
Okay, this blows my mind and also kind of creeps me out. That video is from 1906 in England. And do you see these people reacting to being filmed, presumably for the first time in their lives, and for the first time in anyone's lives, ever? So now here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine going back and talking to them, and explain to them the device you watched this video on. Then explain the app or platform you watched it on. And then tell them which video you saw before and after it. In my case, the video before was a steel mill accident. The video after was a disabled raccoon who is also a food critic. They had no idea what was coming. And neither do we.
Damn. Yeah, it's getting so crazy.
Let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
2 plus 2 equals 6. And let me tell you why it equals 6. Because look at this. There are 2 2's. So therefore, there is an additional 2 that no one talks about because the government...
So you think these guys are just doppelgangers? Huh. These guys too? Also them? Interesting. And these guys,
Wow.
Edward Norton and Sam Rockwell, just doppelgangers? And you're sure about this, right? Real sure?
I mean, those
Again,
two.
just doppelgangers?
Once Kevin and his team sculpted all the details, they created another set of negatives and then poured silicone into those molds and sandwiched it all together. Silicone is necessary for perfectly mimicking the translucency and texture of skin. As you can see here, it also naturally wrinkles like old human skin would.
The color of the silicone is already intrinsically colored to be a flesh tone, and you can see light through this if I could get that the right angle.
Yep, it's got to be it. Doppelgangers. That's all it is. I don't know what I was thinking. And of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know that they're
They do look
doppelgangers.
eerily similar. That's crazy.
Doppelgangers. Entertainment only.
So a lot of you all have been wanting me to go over Project Bluebeam recently. But quickly, I want to mention that Project Bluebeam is a very wild theory and it can get a little scary, so I'm just giving you a small warning. In short, Project Bluebeam is the theory that there is a plan to combine every single country in this world into one government and then have everybody on Earth follow this one government and worship a false god created by this one government. The theory states that they plan to do this by first faking an alien invasion or some sort of catastrophic event. Then once people are terrified and panicking, they will use advanced holograms to bring in a false god to save us from that situation. It will then be mandatory for people to follow this false god, and if you refuse, you will probably be persecuted or even worse off. Now, as crazy as this theory sounds, it's actually some very scary coincidences between the theory and what's happening in our real world today. If you want me to go over that, like for part 2.
Harp this, harp that. What is harp? Well, you need to know. It's spiritual incompetence, and we're faced with another moment in history where our government has decided to take another chance with our lives. When harp was turned on in the spring of 1997, they did not know for sure if the atmosphere was going to be destroyed. They still do not know for sure what the long-range effects will be, just like they didn't know during World War II with the Manhattan Project. HARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project. It is a WMD massively more powerful than the atomic device we just talked about. They intend to beam more than 1.7 gigawatts or a billion watts of radiated power into the ionosphere and actually boil the upper atmosphere in order to create a mirror and or an artificial antenna to transmit huge amounts of powerful energy to any specific area on Earth. This energy would be used to manipulate global weather, hurt or destroy ecosystems, knock out electrical communication, and change our moods and mental states. Not to be mentioned, it could be used to destroy or manipulate the new Christ grid around the world. Here's some books for some source.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
If I'm taking a girl out on a date and I don't pay for it, I am never seeing her again. Here's why. If I've asked you out on a date, I've asked you to accompany me. You are my guest. If I had a mentor, somebody that I really looked up to, and I said, let me take you out for dinner, I want to talk to you about some stuff. It's in my best interest to pay for that dinner because it's an investment in my future. If you don't pay, even if she says, oh, I'll cover half, don't fall for it. It's a trick. You're literally telling her that you are not willing to invest in a future with that person. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about the equality shit or whatever. If you like a girl and you take her out, pay for it. Be a fucking man.
There's been another tragedy in the sky late last night, February 15th. I can't even count how many aircrafts have gone down and crashed over the last month alone. Now, this small aircraft took a plunge about 20 minutes after takeoff, about 30 miles east of Atlanta. Covington Police Department reported that a single-engine Rockwell Commander, which is a really small plane, had taken off from the Covington Municipal Airport about 11:21 p.m. last night. Now, the airport had lost communication with the aircraft about 20 minutes after it had gotten in the sky. They contacted the Covington PD. They sent officers out to search for the plane, and they found the plane crashed in the woods just north of the runway. Now, there were 2 people on board, and neither of them survived. There have not been any names released yet, and as it stands right now, the FAA and the National Transportation Security Board are still investigating. If more information becomes available, I will update you as always. And please like, follow, and share for more content so that I'm able to still do this and provide accurate information for you guys. I really appreciate you being here as always.
There's been something like 60 planes that have crashed or had some kind of malfunction since the beginning of the year, which has to be like on track for some kind of record. I mean, at least since back when the Wright brothers were like practicing flight or trying to take flight or whatever. Because like that's crazy. Within 2 months, 60 planes. That's like one a day. It's crazy.
Human was born with a pineal gland, and that pineal gland is a sensor organ that sits in the middle of your brain. It serves as a receiver and a sender between you, the human being, and the universe. You see, that's where you get your freedom from. Your mind is connected to the universe, which is infinite. It's infinity. You can do anything with your mind. Everything that you see in its physical form came from the invisible spiritual realm first. This auditorium, this building, wasn't here at one time. It was just in someone's mind. So your mind is very, very strong. And how are you connected with that? Your pineal gland.
What do you want to do?
You can do anything you put your mind to, right? That's what they say.
To do business.
Business?
Yes.
You don't want to go to school?
No, I don't want to go to school. I want to do business so that I will start making money as soon as possible.
All right, okay, no problem.
So that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite. You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion. And in return, the per capita income of each of you here tonight has grown, in this year alone, by an average 39%.
Sounds familiar, huh? The movie's called They Live. It's definitely worth checking it out. I think like Roddy Piper or something like that.
And I've just received word that our forces have won a major victory. The underground terrorist network has been destroyed here on the West Coast. We are off crisis alert. The situation is normal again.
How you doing, boys?
So the giant pine cone statue at the Vatican has more meaning to it?
Aren't you curious why at the middle of the Vatican there's a pine cone instead of a statue of Jesus? I'm telling you, it's not just for some decoration. That pine cone is a big symbol. You can see it on the Pope's staff and in churches everywhere. But here's the strange part. The same symbol shows up in ancient Egypt and Samaria used by their gods. Osiris, the Egyptian god, carried a staff with a pine cone. The Sumerian gods had it too. And yet Christianity calls these ancient religions evil. They say it's devil worship. So why would the Vatican use the same symbol? Makes you think, right? Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The pine cone represents the pineal gland, what people call the third eye. It's a part of your brain that helps with dreams and deep thoughts. The word pineal even comes from the same root as pine cone, and both have the same spiral shape. Ancient people believed the pineal gland was the key to spiritual visions, a way to connect with something bigger than ourselves. And get this, the pineal gland makes DMT, a chemical that gives people wild dreams and mystical experiences. That's why some say it's the God gland, a bridge between the real world and something beyond. The Vatican didn't just pick that symbol for fun. The truth is hidden right there, in the Vatican, on the Pope's staff, and even in ancient art. But only those who know what to look for can really see it.
So it could be 1727 now?
It just could be. What if nearly 300 years of history never happened? Stay with me. In 1991, a German historian named Hermann Illig proposed something that shakes the very foundation of time itself, the phantom time hypothesis. His claim? The years 614 to 911 AD were completely fabricated. They don't exist. They were inserted into history, and we've been living in a false timeline ever since. Now, who would do this, and why? Enter Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. Three powerful figures who supposedly conspired to alter historical records and manipulate the calendar. Why? Because Otto III wanted to rule in the symbolic year 1000 AD, a number that carries power, prophecy, and legitimacy. But instead of waiting, they fast-forwarded history itself. Now, think about this. We have written records from this missing period, sure. But where are the artifacts, the architecture, the undeniable physical proof? You'd expect 297 years to leave more behind, yet it's eerily scarce. And if this sounds impossible, just remember, Tartaria was erased from history. If they can erase entire civilizations, why not rewrite time itself?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
3 proofs that the Earth is flat. Part 1. Number 1. Airplanes do not adjust the angle of their flight, which is strange. If the Earth were a sphere, they would fly into space. Number 2. The temperature in Antarctica and the equator differ significantly, although the distance from these places is extremely insignificant. When you understand that the Earth is flat, then everything becomes clear. Number 3.
You guys think the Earth is flat? Let me know in the chat. It's always like a 50-50 on this. I don't know, man. There's a lot of evidence for it, but like, it's just so hard to believe after growing up, like knowing or believing that it's a sphere, right? Let me know in the chat.
If the Earth were spherical, ships would not even see lighthouses at night. But ships always see lighthouses regardless of the distance. Subscribe to learn more proofs.
Are people just devolving?
This is not fog.
You guys think this is normal?
What really is going on?
What is this?
Mysterious fog has started to show up all across the country. Mysterious fog has been seen all over the...
Dude, this is crazy.
This is not normal. It's black.
I even saw fog in the bathroom today after I took a shower. It was actually falling from the sky. I mean, does everything really have to be a conspiracy theory? The problem might not be the fog, but actually your knowledge about fog. This document from the National Weather Service goes into more detail. You can pause if you'd like to read more about the different types of fog, or different fog characteristics like the formation, dissipation, and general forecasting guidance. And more specifically, if you're in the northern Gulf of Mexico, on the Gulf Coast of Florida, check this out. This will give you more information about fog along the Gulf Coast because it is actually a fairly common thing here along the west central coast of Florida through the winter and early spring when the Gulf water temperatures are in the 50s. So get educated and quit spreading these conspiracy theories because you don't know what you're talking about.
This AI, look at those guys.
So we got green lasers.
These AI clips, like that last one, oh my god, man.
We got running water. What about solar and lunar light?
Whenever you apply quartz to a power spot, whether it's in nature or it's on the human body, you're going to amplify the energy there. Gold is understood to be literally, not metaphorically, a crystallization of the energy field emanation from the sun. Silver is the literal crystallization of the energy emanation of the moon. They found that virtually every biological pathogen would be killed by silver. And they show you over a period of a few months them regrowing the entire finger.
No way.
Absolutely.
Love anything to do with space and all that
kind of
Do you
thing.
believe that man has walked on the moon?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I don't. I think that was a conspiracy.
I wish you lots of luck. And your time starts now. The first person to set foot on the moon was US astronaut Neil who?
Armstrong.
Correct.
Breaking news. Reports are emerging from around the globe of rivers mysteriously turning red. From the United States to India, witnesses describe waters shifting to a deep crimson hue, sparking both awe and concern. Scientists are investigating causes like algae blooms, pollution, or natural mineral reactions. However, some are drawing biblical connections, believing it could be a sign of Jesus' imminent return. Authorities urge caution, advising against contact with the affected waters. Whether science or scripture, the world is watching closely. Stay tuned for updates.
I was about to say I don't see any red water anywhere, but then they threw this picture and at the end. I don't know. You guys believe that shit?
Had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? He said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, you know, can you really tell me what's happening out there? He said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
In Thailand, balls were invented with a unique purpose. As this innovative device is thrown directly into a fire, the automatic fire-fighting ball releases non-toxic extinguishing agents that effectively extinguish fires within a 3 cubic meter radius. But it can also automatically detect fire and activate within 3 seconds upon contact with fire.
Has there been a dumber generation of idiots? More susceptible to fake news than these fucking baby boomers, literally believing everything they see on the internet. You literally have people in Honolulu right now auto-driving their Tesla Cybertrucks as they vape out the window and their phone AI is trading cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, you have baby boomers, they can't even right-click. They can't even right-click. There's one button, how do you right-click on one button? It's scary, they don't know what's real anymore. Like, Ronnie, look at this photo of Bigfoot shopping at Whole Foods. Bigfoot is real now. Look, there's an image of him buying kombucha at Whole Foods. What technology exists that can fake images? I'm like, Mom, that's not real. Stop sending it around, it's not real. How do you know? They always get so indignant about it. Like, how do you know that it's not real? Because the font is off and the resolution of the image is blurry and that lighting state doesn't even make sense for that image and that's not standard dimensions for a news article, okay? I can't give you this knowledge. It's like Malcolm Gladwell, blink. I've just seen so much shit on the internet. My brain instantly filters it. You'll never have this skill set. So just stay off the internet. This world is not for you anymore. Stop making decisions.
Oh, man.
Hey, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Now, part of the reason for this is that we've invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence, but we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. The best lessons, I think, on how to get prepared are, again, what we do for war. We need a medical reserve corps. Lots of people who've got the training and background who are ready to go with.
Anytime this guy starts talking about anything, it just gets me like, uh-oh. What do we got to watch out for now? Mosquitoes or whatever else? Man, anyways.
I am not surprised you don't know what that is. We're not supposed to see them. Allow me to explain. Meet the black sea devil. Just a friendly-looking, fully carnivorous fish. The same fish that almost made Finding Nemo a one-part series. And this video is the first time in history that one was documented swimming near the surface of the ocean. That's because normally they're found deep in the water. 3 miles deep. That's where the sun don't shine. Why do you think they have a light bulb on their head? And down where they dwell, fish are attracted to lights. That thing is basically a built-in bait. And some unfortunate fish will come swimming up, and what do they see? Boom! Homicidal flashlight. With its mouth looking like a doctor's office. Even though those needle-like teeth are not meant for chewing. They're just meant for stabbing their prey and holding them in place while they swallow them whole. Oh, and they could swallow prey bigger than their own body. That looks like a carnivorous balloon. Moral of the story, these things are designed to survive at the bottom of the ocean. This isn't normal. Something's going on down there. And as always, follow for more facts.
History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems and supply chains will be deeply affected. In times of crisis, the role of governments is more important and more relevant than ever. What is also needed is a summit like this one to go beyond crisis management and to look into constructive ways we can build our common future.
So you and him aren't beefing, but you just had different ideas
level.
for the
Yeah,
program.
I mean, you got a bunch of people with
I imagine these
different
opinionated
visions
too. Yeah.
of how to achieve similar goals.
Yeah.
You find different ways to achieve those goals.
Did you have a
And so-
combo where you're like, yo, I think we should actually go this direction?
Well, look, I think that it was an evolution of
Yeah.
where we were headed for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, things, in a new project has never been done before. So initially the thought it'd be outside government, use the legal constitutional basis legislation, ended up, really having an internal to government and technology-centric focus. I think that's great. And I think it could be super successful. And I think there's nobody with that focus. I really mean this. I think there's nobody with that focus that is going to be better positioned to do good things than Elon.
I don't know who that guy is. If you guys know, let me know in the chat. I heard him say Elon at the end, but I don't know.
So the conspiracy theory is that Disney created the movie Frozen as a distraction from the rumor that Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen. So now if you Google Disney Frozen, the movie pops up, not things about Walt Disney being cryogenically frozen.
Brilliant.
But I mean, we all know.
So I'm like, that's amazing. And I honestly think it's true.
I mean, think about Frozen. Has anyone wanted to hear that story? Okay.
No one was
They're pushing
asking for
Frozen,
that.
Okay.
They pushed Frozen harder than any other Disney movie.
Won Oscars.
And there was a dark truth behind it. Yeah. And that's what we're learning today.
And I didn't like Frozen. I'm going to say why.
Oh, I didn't watch it. Because every musical theater was obsessed.
I know it.
Theater person was obsessed with it, and I was like,
it got to be too much.
I'm more of a Tangled, except for the horror show. That little horror show ended when she
cut off her hair and
became
it
like
turned
a
brown.
brunette with like a little tiny bang look.
That was worse than Scream.
That was like
movie.
sick.
When they cut her hair and it turned brown, I was like,
Next.
You know the song Disturbia?
Yeah.
Have you ever?
That's classic, the number one.
But fam, it has a dark meaning, and it exposes all of Rock Nation.
No way!
Yeah. So there's lyrics. Fam, I don't know if you read lyrics or just watched the music video. I'll show you the music video first. Hold on. Watch the music video first. This is fun. Hold on. It's too close for comfort. Yeah, sing that
song, right?
Yeah. Hold on, look at the music video. And the whole thing, she's trapped in a cell. Nothing heard, nothing said. Can't even speak about it. All my life on my head. Hold on.
Oh shit.
And she's in a jail cell. Yeah. But this one's crazy. Look, watch.
What?
The whole time she's trying to
keep playing it.
Now listen. Yeah. There's 2 words that she hid and said different words so that she wouldn't get caught.
Oh, so it's like an entendre.
Yeah. So when she said, "You better think twice."
Yeah.
You know the movie Blink Twice?
Yeah.
She said that on purpose because in the movie there's a drug, right? Called Desideria.
What is that?
And that's the perfume in the movie where they forget everything that was said to them. So they were hypnotized. So the song is called Disturbia. She can't name it Disturbia because she'll get caught, right? And in the thing she says,
oh, so it sounds like the drug.
Yeah. And then look. She says, hold on. It can creep up inside you and consume you. A disease of the mind. It can control you. It's too close for comfort.
Oh, so it's all about
the mind and the mind control.
The mind controlling drug.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Desideria. Instead of, she called it Disturbia.
Because it sounds similar.
It sounds similar.
The movie is pretty good, actually. You should check it out. Blink Twice.
Blink twice. She can't say that.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's actually smart.
And why do you think she hasn't dropped in so long? She went into beauty instead of music. Because Jay-Z and Rock Nation can't touch her with cosmetics.
Yeah, because it's a different industry. That makes sense.
Rihanna knows this shit, so she's not gonna do music no more.
That's smart. Because she hasn't dropped any music in a long ass time. Damn.
Yeah.
Dark predictions for East Coast, America, and Europe. Wait till you see this. So I was looking into the weather, into the future, February the 15th into the 16th, and I noticed this. A giant storm that looks like the size of the ocean. Anyways, watch what happens as we go into the 16th, okay? Notice how bad things get on the entire East Coast, from Florida to Maine. Look at the size of this thing. Watch how this moves and develops. Look how bad it is for the East Coast. And then still pretty bad for the East Coast, still the 16th. Now this whole thing is kind of merging into this one big storm, the 17th. Look, touching Portugal to Ireland, all the way over here to Iceland and almost back to America. And then look, it conjoins into this big system, touching, look, Portugal, parts of Europe, and still impacting the East Coast of America. And then it kind of funnels up and goes into Europe, still affecting parts of America. So these 2-3 days, very intense. You can see the core here hitting Spain and Portugal and parts of the UK, still over here affecting Maine and parts of Nova Scotia, Canada. And that's from the 16th to the 18th, guys. I don't know. Just thought you might want to have a heads up on this monster coming at you guys. And
it's a big storm.
If I see anything else big, I'll let you guys know.
Did you know these are the people who knew too much and were silenced? Michael Jackson, 25th of June, 2009. It said that Michael uncovered secrets about a dark network involving high-ranking politicians and minors. The official version states he died from an overdose while trying to sleep that night. But how credible is that explanation?
Just so everybody's aware, they're using AI to sound like Elon and Joe Rogan and all this kind of stuff to grab your attention. So I'm pretty sure that's not Elon that said this.
Barnaby Jack, 25th of July, 2013. This famous hacker shocked the world when, during a conference, he demonstrated how some could manipulate pacemakers to cause clean, undetectable deaths. Just days later, Barnaby was found dead in his apartment. A simple coincidence, or was he silenced for what he knew? Daphne Caruana Galizia, 16th of October, 2017. This investigative journalist exposed secrets about the elites and the controversial Panama Papers. Her research placed her in direct conflict with powerful figures. Shortly afterwards, a bomb in her car ended her life. Is it really just a coincidence that all these people met such fates, or did they uncover something they were never meant to know? But what do you think, Comet Silence? If you want me to keep exposing the hidden truth...
Now, the thing with these conspiracy theorists is that you can change their minds really quickly, right? Because they do a lot of smoking, and he's going, mate, would you land on them? Oh, mate, I'm telling you, the whole thing was a hoax. I turned to him and said, Frank, how gullible are you, man? He goes, what do you mean? I said, what, you think the moon actually exists? No, it's a conspiracy. The Americans faked the whole thing with a big spotlight. They got a big, that's what it is. Mate, have you noticed sometimes the moon's there and sometimes it's not? Huh? The fuck's that about? I swear he looked at me for like a minute and went, oh man, you've given me a lot to think about. So.
This is what Trump is terrified of.
Today, Brazil, in our hemisphere, largest country in the Western Hemisphere south of us, cut a trade deal with China. They're going to, from now on, do trade in their own currencies, get right around the dollar. They're creating a secondary economy in the world, totally independent of the United States. We won't have to talk about sanctions in 5 years because there'll be so many countries transacting in currencies other than the dollar that we won't have the ability to sanction them.
With China about to become the largest economy in the world, the hegemonic power of the United States is dwindling. The US has been the dominant power since World War II, in particular after the Cold War. The US dollar has been its most powerful tool. Trump's tariff war is accelerating the US's downfall.
There's a crazy theory. You know, he does this thing, right?
Oh, when he's playing chess.
Yeah, when he's playing chess.
Yeah.
Now this is a mudra. What does this look like?
Illuminati?
What does this look like?
Oh, yeah.
Now check this out. There's a theory that the mudras, they work. That's why people do them. This is actually used in a lot of Hinduism and even meditations.
Okay.
Different hand mudras. The theory is the elites or the Illuminati or whoever doesn't want us finding out the power of these mudras, they attach negative images onto it to make it seem like a bad thing. If we look at this, Illuminati, we won't dare to do it because it's like taboo. Now another one. Remember this?
Yeah, the goat.
People are saying this is satanic. This is another mudra. And this mudra specifically, this actually helps your health. It actually boosts your immune system. People will do this. And after doing it for, I think, 8 hours of meditation like this, they'll cough up mucus. Just as a circuit would work. Doing this, completing a circuit in your body, gets your mucus out.
Uh-oh, there's fucking Simpsons prediction.
Okay, if you're at all like mentally unstable or fragile, don't watch this one. So I've made a lot of videos about organoid intelligence in the past. That's where you take human brain cells and grow them in a petri dish and then use a computer to train them just like AI. They're actually more powerful than AI in that they learn quicker and are more energy efficient, but there are huge ethical concerns with them because they have similar brain activity to a premature baby. And there's a lot of people out there that object to these because there's a decent amount of evidence that they're conscious, just like a person. I recently posted a company called Final Spark, and they actually have something called Neural Platform where you can rent out essentially server space on these organoid brains, so you can pay for them to do things for you.
This is a live stream of the organoid brain computers that you can rent out. But there's something way more concerning on their website. And that's this simulation which the brains are fed sensory data from so that they can feel everything the butterfly feels and control it to like fly around. The reason why that's terrifying is there's a good chance the brains, if they are conscious, just believe they are that butterfly. Because when they're not in use by someone purchasing their computational power, they just fly around and exist in that simulation. And you probably already see where I'm going with this, but if this is possible, you could make a pretty good case that we are just organoid brains somewhere and this is the simulation that we're in. And maybe like when you daydream or just fall asleep, that's someone using your consciousness to do something else. I don't know. But crazy to think about. Crazy times.
I'll cheat a little bit.
Yes!
Oh man. Dunk it on him.
Check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it. Hey, Greg and the CE, call me hip hop junkie. Straight to your dome piece like Brass Monkey. All I wanna know, do you wanna get funky? CNC beats be kicking like a donkey. Get down if you're chunky but funky. Get down if you're chunky but funky. You want funk? Hey.
I'm ready to return to my original size.
Watch this. Crazy alien movie.
We used all our resources to make 4 sophons.
This is crazy.
2 pairs of 2. Each pair is entangled,
Oh my god.
connected on the quantum level. 2 remain with us. The other 2 we've sent to you.
Whoa.
Everything they see and hear, we see and hear at the same time. Even when they are light years apart.
This movie is crazy.
The proton has virtually no mass. Accelerating them to nearly light speed is easy. Even you can do that. They entered your solar system months ago.
Look at that.
We sent them to your planet. To the places
Look
where
at
your
that.
best minds explore reality at its most fundamental level.
TikTok
And we will
headquarters.
destroy the science that could defeat us.
Oh,
the
look at
universe
that.
will remain a mystery to you forever.
Go watch this on Netflix.
In truth, we give you miracles.
Whoa.
What is the one fact about the universe that blows your mind the most?
There are a lot of things about the universe that I find it almost impossible to imagine. Well, actually impossible to imagine. One's just the size and scale of it. I mean, in the piece of the universe we can see, there are something like 2 trillion galaxies. We haven't counted them all, but that's an estimate based on surveys of the local universe. 2 trillion, 2,000 billion galaxies. And each galaxy is, let's say, around the size of the Milky Way. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but the Milky Way has 400 billion stars in it. It takes light over 100,000 years to cross a galaxy. And there are 2 trillion of them in the piece of the universe we can see. And we're very sure that that piece that we can see is a small bit of what may be an infinite universe beyond. We don't know, actually. And I always say, don't get worried about that, because nobody can picture it. It is impossible to visualize the scale of the universe.
Hello.
What is
She wants to come in, Desson.
The CIA recently declassified a book that says all of humanity will soon be wiped out in a global cataclysm. The book is called The Adam and Eve Story. Part 1 and 2 blew my mind and they're up on my profile. What really trips me out is that the events outlined in this book actually gives reasonable explanations to history's greatest mysteries, such as Antarctica, the lost city of Atlantis, the pyramids all around the world, Stonehenge, Easter Island, the forgotten Pacific continent of Mu, the list goes on. And virtually every religion in ancient folklore and history talks of a catastrophe that resets the entire world, like the famous Noah's Ark, the Hurricane flood of the Mayans, the Sumerians had the flood in Gilgamesh, and all written completely independent of each other and all prophesizing that it will happen again, aka Judgment Day. Same goes for the legends of the pyramids and all these ancient structures all around the world. Each of these cultures have an almost identical story of some greater being coming down and building these monuments for them, despite these ancient civilizations being tens of thousands of kilometers apart and never coming into contact with each other. Not a single one of them actually taking credit for these incredible achievements themselves. I don't know about you, but if I was some great civilization that built something as incredible as the pyramids, I would definitely want to be flexing on everyone about it. But these stories of the pyramids and worldwide floods, remnants of our advanced ancestors passed on to the Stone Age of the next civilization of humans. And again, the book that outlines these events has been dismissed by everyone as pseudoscience. But as we've seen, especially lately, the difference between pseudoscience and science is usually just time. This book was classified by the CIA up until 2013, so were they trying to hide something from us?
This is fuck. The name Pinocchio, it's actually two words put together. The first one is pin, right? Pinocchio. Pine actually refers to the pineal gland. Pineal gland is in charge of your consciousness. That's literally the gland in your brain. Occhio, you know what that stands for? What? In ancient Latin, Occhio actually translates to eye. Pinocchio together, they're referring to the third eye. Now listen, Pinocchio was a puppet. He wanted to become a real boy. But how does he become a real boy? What happens when he lies?
He grows.
He becomes a puppet again.
He smokes, right?
He smokes, he drinks alcohol. All of those things, they lead him down a road that leads him to becoming a puppet again. There's other themes in it too, like being influenced by bad people. In real life, if you keep doing the wrong things to yourself, following the wrong habits, you become a what? A puppet. Third eye, becoming a puppet. The elites work us like a puppet.
What the fuck is that?
Look at that beautiful fruit.
I have not seen something like this.
Location, look at where we are right
AI?
now.
Wow, just gorgeous.
Just gorgeous. What the fuck? Some Allen Iverson shit there, for sure.
Bless America. Holy cow.
Let me know in the comments. Is that AI or what? It looks like AI to me. I don't know, man.
And another formation on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens, who is this? They don't look one off.
Let me see.
Proof that time travel already exists? Well, you see, the Vatican secretly passed a law stating that anyone who was caught in possession of a device that had time travel capabilities would be immediately excommunicated. And furthermore, they have patents protecting the intellectual property of a time device called the chronovisor. If they claim that such a device doesn't exist, why would they go through so much trouble to hide it? And even though you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below, could this be?
This is probably one of the weirdest things I've come across. There was this prophecy of a Hopi chief. This prophecy goes back to where before the white man was in America. He had this whole sketch. They didn't have a written language, but he predicted really crazy stuff. He said there's this separation at the end of the drawing. It could either be chaos or it could be the coming of the Great Spirit again. It boiled down to one individual. It is known that our true white brother, when he comes, will be all powerful and will wear a red cap or a red cloak. He will bring with him the sacred stone tablets, with him 2 great ones. One will have the symbol, it looked like it just an X. And when I read that, just chills went down me. He mentioned that one of these people, the man with the X symbol, he said he will be a man of great invention.
I'm just now understanding the X reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get out of
When
here.
it talked about the sacred tablets,
we talked about the Mar-a-Lago.
We talked about the Mar-a-Lago Ark of the Covenant thing. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Just like these Mandela effects, some of you have me all the way fucked up. Some of you have the audacity and are bold enough to get on here and lie in my comments. To answer your question, yes, I remember Mickey Mouse having suspenders. Because he fucking did. Exhibit A. Disney, you have some fucking explaining to do. And to the people in my comments lying, saying he didn't have suspenders, how does it feel to be wrong? Again. Whoop, there's another one. So tell me again how Mickey Mouse didn't have suspenders?
I apologize for your guys' ears on that one. That guy seemed pretty upset about Mickey's suspenders.
This is a really interesting question, and I like how he asked this. So I'm going to give you all the first honest answer you've probably ever seen about it. About 2 weeks ago, I was in Amsterdam in an alchemical library, and I was reading some very old antique texts from the Rosicrucians about this very topic. I have my own personal beliefs about whether or not there are non-corporeal intelligences beyond that of humanity, and how humanity has historically interacted with them. But they put it more succinctly than I ever could, so I'm going to read you an excerpt from one of those books. About the Rosicrucians, it is believed that they can command the elemental spirits of nature and knew the secret of the Philosopher's Stone, a substance which rendered him who possessed it all-powerful, immortal, and supremely wise. And they assert that there are many occult laws and mysterious powers of which mankind on the whole knows very little, and which would for many centuries remain unknown to science, because all science is based upon the observation of facts, and facts must be perceived before they can be observed. But the spiritual powers of perception are not yet sufficiently among mankind as a whole to enable them to perceive spiritual things. They say that if our spiritual powers of perception were fully developed, we would see this universe peopled with other beings than ourselves, and of whose existence we know nothing at present. They speak of the inhabitants of the four kingdoms of nature, of nymphs, undines, gnomes, sylphs, salamanders, and fairies, as if they were people with whom they were most intimately acquainted, and as if they did not belong to the realm of the fable, but were living beings of an ethereal organization too subtle to be perceived by our gross material senses.
So we only been scratching the surface this entire time? Archaeologists are constantly finding new chambers in the pyramids that go far deeper than the outer ground level of the base. And they still haven't been able to find the bottom yet, so exactly how deep does it go? Tall obelisks like these have been found all over ancient Egypt, each with a pyramid-shaped tip. And the pointy Egyptian pyramids look much different than all the other step-shaped pyramids all around the world, so I wonder why. Almost every other ancient structure was initially buried when we first found it, like the Sphinx, Göbekli Tepe, and Chichen Itza to name a few. Why did we just assume the pyramids were fully showing at first sight? Just like we discovered with the Easter Island statues, the majority of their height is buried underground, with some important text inscribed on the side. Nowhere is it written how the pyramids were built, so it could very well be written on the buried sides here. Now I know, these buried obelisks would have been mother crackin' enormous, far bigger than what any humans would have been able to move. Let's take a second to compare to this national monument in Wyoming called the Devil's Tower. Very old rock and the only one of its size in the area, thought to be a natural formation. On closer look, it looks oddly like a petrified tree stump with many more like it around the world, which if that's the case leads to the question, who cut it down? Maybe the same giants who built these massive obelisks, which possibly got buried after worldwide floods only for the tips to be rediscovered thousands of years later by the Egyptians. Even historic texts such as the Bible refer to a race of giants called the Nephilim, and ancient drawings everywhere all too often show depictions of much larger beings. The evidence of these giants is found all across the world, from the pyramids in Devil's Tower to these giant steps in Peru, the plain of Jars in Laos, Easter Island, Nam Madol in Micronesia, this giant knife found underwater near the coast of Madagascar. All ancient discoveries which were either far too big to be practical or even physically moved by ancient humans. Once is an anomaly, twice is suspicious, but this many times all over the world, I think there's something we don't know here.
Scariest conspiracy theories in the world that will seriously change your life. This shows a list of all the conspiracy theories in the world, from the top, the most well-known, to the bottom, the darkest of the dark, that will change your life. And welcome back, guys. Of course, as you know by now, in this series we're going from the top to the bottom, so I don't even know what part this is, but let's go. I don't like this one. I don't like it. This is solipsism. Genuinely, if you suffer from paranoia or anxiety or anything like that, just don't watch this. Like, I actually mean it this time. Right, so you are the only real person. Everyone around you is literally an NPC, so am I. Wait, what? This is what solipsism is, just have a little read. I believe that only one's mind is actually sure to exist, which is true. The scary thing about this is there is no way to prove or disprove this. Ever, ever, ever. So everything around you is fake, everybody around you is fake, only you are real. When you look at things, when you turn around, things just spawn in. But you are completely alone in this place, and everybody is just your brain's way of making you not feel so alone. Boom. Mind blown. See you in the next one.
There's a new...
Like the ultimate conspiracy theory, because you could just never prove it.
Scary Simpsons theory that I see.
What is it?
And you know that the Simpsons predict a lot.
Yeah.
So in the Simpsons, it's a new episode. In 2024, they predicted it. So in season 24, episode 9, Homer Simpson is in a bunker and he's preparing for like a doomsday thing with Marge. And she's like, they're setting up all the rice, all the beans, because they're like, we don't know how long this is going to take place.
Yeah.
And then over Springfield,
the solar storm happens, electricity is gone, Wi-Fi is gone, they have to live in that bunker. The scientists have said recently. And they said that we're gonna experience a solar storm, aka internet apocalypse. We don't know where it ends, but you know what I mean, we don't know who decides that, right? But they've been saying that the sun has been getting super active and they've been finding holes, super big holes in the sun that have been causing these these solar storms in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
This is in 2024, fam, and it's happening right now.
Damn, so they predict that shit.
We don't know, it hasn't happened yet, but you know how they predict stuff.
Because, you heard what happened like recently? Just 10 of the most known billionaires have bought bunkers.
China is unveiling the future of military technology at Airshow China 2024, introducing a new generation of light arms and an innovative creation, robotic wolves, modeled as wolves. These machines adopt a pack strategy for coordinated missions. The robotic wolf pack consists of 4 specialized units, each with a unique role. One wolf leads with advanced reconnaissance equipment to gather critical frontline intelligence. Another supports the team with ammunition supplies. 2 other wolves are armed with firearms that can serve as the primary combat forces. Together, they are controlled and coordinated by a central vehicle, allowing the pack to operate within a 2-kilometer range for up to 3 hours.
So Denver Airport.
That's
There's
crazy.
a very disturbing theory about that place. No one knows why it was built. Denver already had a perfectly functioning airport downtown, but they decided to spend $2 billion more than expected and 2 years over the expected finishing date. It's got a 5-story underground facility. Isn't that weird? People say it's a doomsday bunker for those in power. However, officials claim it's only a baggage system unused throughout the airport. There are some eerie paintings displaying like destruction and a sort of apocalypse. It has monsters too. Also, there's a blue horse statue, and it's labeled Lucifer. It has glowing red eyes and it's 30+ feet tall. When it was being built, the artist died as an instrument holding the head of the horse fell on him. It killed him instantly. They still went on to finish it though. Another weird thing is that the airport has 2 secret runways, allegedly used by the government. The theory goes on to say that there's a time capsule from 1994 buried inside, and it can't be opened until 2094. That might explain all of these secrets.
A lot of people don't even know this. The governments of the world contact the Vatican and get approval before they go to war. Think about that kind of power. And what's interesting is they contact to speak to the Black Pope. Not a black man, but a Black Pope. He wears the black garment. He's called a super Jesuit with a sworn oath, a very special sworn oath. And then research the oath. It is so dark, it'll make you feel sick on the inside.
Want to pause it and read some of it, but yeah, I won't. It's gonna let me just read it as it goes anyways. Yeah, I'll skip this for you guys though.
Caterpillar. They're found in the United States.
What are you?
You do not want to touch that. That walking mustache will tear you up. That was the puss caterpillar. They're found in the United States, mostly Texas. And they just so happen to be the most dangerous caterpillar in the country. You see, the only thing you really notice about them at first glance is their awesome haircut. But underneath all that hair are venomous spines. And these venomous spines pretty much run all the way across the caterpillar's body. Hiding your stingers? That seems kind of unfair. But what's worse is each venomous spine has its own venom gland. So the more spines you touch, the worse it gets. If you grab one, I am sorry. And if you do get poked, you're gonna get met with immediate searing pain and swelling, followed by vision problems, difficulty breathing, and blisters that can last for weeks. And the pain is said to be worse than the bullet ant. You know, the ant that's said to have the most painful sting in the world. Moral of the story, if you ever see this walking toupee out in the wild, trust me, you don't want to touch it. And as always, follow for more facts.
Who is the Pope?
The Black
He
Pope
is
or the
the
White
Emperor of Rome. Rome never died, never faded away. It became the Vatican. What is the Vatican? It is the priesthood of all of the old pagan religions of Rome, built upon the deception that they are Christian. Can man change the orders of God? Can man elevate himself above God? No. Then why did the Pope change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, the venerable day of the worship of the sun Osiris? Why in the outer courtyard of the Vatican is there a temple of the sun, an obelisk, and a reflecting pool built as a fountain around the base of the obelisk? Because what we're talking about in Dealey Plaza and in Washington, D.C. exists also in the Vatican. And I'm not trying to insult Catholics, I'm just trying to tell you the truth.
Watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HARP uses 1 billion watts beam straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we say that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you do this with 2 billion watts, the vibrations are
Jesus.
Called the firmament. Think about this. Why did almost every ancient civilization describe a flat earth under a dome? Look at the Bible. Genesis says, God made the firmament and divided the waters above from the waters below. If you zoom in on stars with a powerful camera, they don't look like distant balls of fire. They shimmer like they're underwater.
I don't know, man. I think the flat Earth society brings a lot of ammo to the table, but it's just hard to jump on board. It's difficult. Anyways, that was episode 1. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that awesome stuff. Join us for number 2 in a couple days.